Welcome to Hayfries and Horseapples, the Equestrian Broadcasting Company's podcast for fan things and stuff, because we're specific like that. Returning again is yours truly, Dalk Starbine, as well, with me as well, if I can English, is Mr. Shoebox.
Yo!
Noteworthy.
Second time around is always better than the first.
And joining us for the first time for the second time because technical difficulties have eaten our past two attempts to record new episodes.
Hello.
Soul Ember. So Soul Ember, for the benefit of our audience, what do you do in the fandom?
Besides devouring episodes into the ether, I also...
and our guests, apparently.
and guests as well. I also help with moderating and doing a little bit of radio stuff and media work through Everfree Northwest with a small Brony community called everypony.com. And I've also worked at Everfree Northwest for PR on their social media for the years 2015 and this year, 2016.
Awesome. And also joining us for the first time is Wordy Notes. Hey, Wordy. What do you do?
Hey, guys, what's up? I do a lot of writing in the fandom, and that's basically about it, but I've done quite a bit of it. Mostly written a lot of fan fiction, done some pre-reading work on fan fiction for a few people, and also have done some script editing work for the radio play.
So what you're saying is we can read your stuff and then make fun of you, right?
Yeah, especially some of my I'd have to find a way to upload all the stuff that I wrote during middle school online, which I have been thinking about doing just as a laugh.
All right. And then we actually have our first community guest for this episode. Awesome times. Midley, good to have you on the show.
Guys, good to be here.
So, now hopefully Skype won't devour your connection again.
Yep.
So, you do the music things, to put it so eloquently.
I do the music things in the fandom. I've worked for conventions before. I've ran conventions before. I've done public relations for conventions before, but most of what everyone knows me for is DJing and now music production.
Nice.
So after DJing for the past 6-7 years now, or recently within the past year and a half, I got into music production, and I've really been going hard into music production in the past 6 months. It kind of, you dabble for a bit. You got to figure out programs and what program suits you. I was trying to do music production in Ableton, or Ableton as I sometimes accidentally call it. And then I found out FL Studio was way more up my alley, so I started producing things in FL Studio.
Fellow FL person. High five.
Got a dope track out on Strack Attack's Millennials remix EP, a hardcore remix of Mustache Ride, which is probably the track I'm most proud of, and I've got a big summer slammer I'm working on that's actually a remix of a international pop star that is making me super anxious because I'm remixing something that is signed to a label, and I've been given permission to remix it, and it's like, oh my god, I can't screw this up.
Wow.
So
looking forward to that one, man. I'm sure it'll be great.
I also do lasers and photography on the side. I own a laser show company, and I'm recently starting to get back into photography now that I've got a better camera. So,
excellent.
Yeah, if you look at my header on Twitter, it's music, photography, and lasers, which pretty much describes everything I do in 3 words.
Nice.
Right there. Boom. So.
Can't go wrong with that combo.
So,
I know.
Soul Ember here is actually also our lead interviewer for the show. So he'll be running our questions for the following segment before we get into episode discussion, all that fun jazz. And we'll just kind of bounce off from there because, we're so clearly
organized
and professional and just
But
very
we are organized and professional.
on top of things and totally didn't have an hour-long pre-show
That's fine. You gotta like get everyone used to
You just
talking. You gotta
you
get
just ran
everyone in
over.
the mood.
Mhm.
It's
And it's been a
essentially the
month until that's recording.
it's the podcast foreplay. Is what it is.
I already
Ah,
erased that thought from my head forever now.
that is disgustingly accurate.
Yup.
I'll have to use that in the future.
Oh dear.
I know you will
Okay,
now
so
too.
we're gonna have an hour of podcast foreplay, and then we'll get into the real show. All your guests are gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
We lose all our viewers.
Well, if at some point we start streaming these, maybe that's what we'll do is we'll let our streamers get in on the pre-show, and
Yup.
it'll be good fun for everybody.
No,
Well,
if you
I'm
guys get
doing,
into
like, big
podcasting,
Macintosh here. Yup.
if you guys get big into podcasting and you guys actually create a Patreon, that's what your Patreon supporters could be. They could be privy to like the hour of pre-podcast foreplay.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
There you go.
definitely.
It's true.
I've got you guys a business idea on your Patreon already.
Excellent.
Yay. All hail Midley. He's our new god.
Oh god, no. Dude, after running the Ottawa Bronies for 2 or 3 years, I'm done running things in pony fandom.
I can sympathize, empathize even.
All the pathizes.
Just pathizing all over the place.
You know, they make a cream for that.
Solember, we have questions for our guests.
I do indeed. How did you get involved in DJing and music production?
Okay, so there's two different answers for that. Getting involved in DJing, I had been attending anime conventions since 2006. Actually, I think even earlier than that, 2003. A long time. I was in high school. I attended my first anime convention, AC3 04, 05, way back when. Could have been actually been OEC3 03. I don't know. Anyways, Anime Cubed, a convention in Ottawa that's no longer existing. So I was into anime conventions because I like watching anime, a bit of a otaku. And I also, because I liked electronic dance music and have for a long time, I think since the early 2000s. Actually, probably even the 90s, to be honest with you. But yeah, so I liked the electronic music. So I eventually started going to raves in Ottawa and various electronic dance music events. And then I'd also noticed that the anime conventions, they'd have an electronic dance music segment at the anime convention. And it was really weird for me because I was noticing a giant disconnect. I'd go to a rave and they'd have a dude up on a turntable that was, DJing and doing mixing and all that, and the crowd was hella hype. And then you go to an anime convention, and all the local anime conventions, it was the same music, but the presentation was a dude who was often sitting behind stage on a actual PC tower, just tending to a Winamp Media playlist. So I kind of noticed that for a year or two. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing the same people at raves that are going to anime conventions, but the feel of the dance is entirely different.
Huh.
So the whole thing was like, okay, I kind of want to try DJing, but it's expensive. And then I happened to be looking at the Metro, which was one of the free papers back in Ottawa, and there was this controller that was advertised in their tech section. It was, you can DJ on your computer or laptop for $99. It's a Hercules DJ MP3E2 or DJ Control MP3E2. It was a virtual DJ controller. This was back in 2009, 2008-ish. So I went out and bought this. I went out and bought it and started derping around with it, and I really liked it. I really kind of got a feel for DJing, and then I somehow ended up, because I was already working at one of the anime conventions, I got roped into DJing at the dance. So I DJed at the dance. The first time I DJed, which was N2U 2010 or 2009, so 09, 010, it sucked. I didn't bring my MIDI controller. I was using actual CDJs and a mixer, so I kind of had a vague idea of how to mix, but it was complete garbage. I had already been booked for G Anime, which was another convention happening in about 4 months after N2U in 2010. So yeah, it would have been 2009. So 2010 was when I DJed at G Anime, and this time I actually brought in my own controller. And my controller at that point, because I needed something that could do output, I had upgraded to a Hercules DJ Console Mark III, because that actually had an onboard sound card and an RCA out. I DJed at there, and I remember the music guy coming up to me after. He's like, "Yeah, we were really worried about keeping you on because some people said you really, really sucked, but like, that set was friggin' awesome. So I kept DJing at G Anime every year, kept DJing at N2U every year. And then, of course, around 2010, 2011, sorry, yeah, 2010, 2011, ponies started happening. So I was already DJing in the anime community. So I'm like, okay, I should just start, DJing on the pony scene. It's just another fandom for me to DJ on. And from there, I started DJing on Brony Radio, and then I needed to take a break because I was working on stuff on high school, and people heard my mixes, specifically One Trick, who then dragged me into mixology. And at this point, I'm like doing various anime conventions. I get roped into some pony conventions, Fiesta Equestria, 2012, and just things have kind of snowballed from there. And yeah, and then in terms of music production, I'd have to say around 2014, there was a head of musicians for many of the conventions that a lot of people knew they hated non-producing DJs. They would not book a DJ who does not produce, and it was actually kind of a bit of a shenanigans going on there. There were a lot of people that had beef with this musician head, but that was where kind of like, I should probably start producing. So that kind of seed was planted there, and then in 2015 I actually went and got Ableton from someone, and I tried derping around with that. I actually dropped 2 tracks of mine that I produced at Midwest Brony Fest 2015, and they were horrible and awkward. And then I had known Strack Attack when I moved, or I got to know him better when I moved out to British Columbia, and he was using FL. So I'm like, okay, if Strack Attack's using FL and he's actually producing some pretty good stuff, I should try FL. My aversion to FL was I heard a lot of people were like, oh, FL's, that's the kiddie stuff. That's like virtual DJ versus Tractor. No one worth their salt uses virtual DJ. They all use Tractor. So I had that disconnect in, and then when I found out Strack was using it, I'm like, okay, I may as well try FL Studio. And in trying FL Studio, I'm like, oh my god, this layout makes sense to me.
That was actually what happened to me too when I picked up FL for the first time. I was like, I'm looking at all these different DAWs, and it was like looking at ancient runes. I couldn't make sense of it, and then I picked up FL Studio, and it was just, I can understand this.
Yeah, my workflow works for FL Studio. So then I started using FL, and I started derping around with that, and then I started getting way better at it. So that's how I got into DJing. I got into DJing simply because I wanted to bring the experience of raves that I saw at anime conventions the experience of raves that I had at raves that I didn't see at anime conventions, and I wanted to bring it. For the longest time, I was declaring myself an anime con DJ, and now I'm just like, I'm a DJ. I DJ fandom stuff. I DJ freaking anything. I've done weddings before. I've done Pride events in Ottawa, Homestuck, Promstuck, like a prom event based on Homestuck. Yeah.
Huh.
So a whole bunch of cool stuff. And then of course I've DJed Everfree Northwest, Brony Can, Renegade Stage at Brony Con, Fiesta Equestria, more cons than I can count. Oh, Canterlot as well. So yeah.
All right. How did you end up finding the Brony fandom? You mentioned that people were bringing you on from the anime conventions into Brony conventions. Was that how you originally found it, or was it a different journey finding the fandom?
Way entirely different journey. I had a couple, well, ish kind of. I had a lot of anime friends on my Facebook, and I'd seen these things about My Little Pony coming around, and I had seen the Flash versions of Generation 3.5 because they were posted around on 4chan, which I was a browser of Flash, and like they were horrible. So like when I saw this new thing, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So it's another horrible Flash abomination that people are posting because they're probably laughing at it or whatnot. And then one of my friends posted a video which was Ponycraft 2, which was like, it was like StarCraft 2 ponified. I'm like, whoa, hold on, I gotta see this because this is probably going to be really interesting. And then when I was watching the Ponycraft 2, which was a StarCraft 2 trailer, ponified, and I saw the kind of dark elements that were being added, I'm like, whoa, someone actually made a really good trailer using the VO from the StarCraft 2 trailer. And if someone's able to do this and actually make the VO keep the same darkness and like the animation kept the same darkness, then there must be more to this show. So I ended up watching Call of the Cutie, which apparently is one of the worst episodes to get into, and I really liked it. And then because it's one of the it's the CMC puberty episode basically. So then I got into, I'm like, okay, cool. So then I watched episode 1, and then episode 2, and then I basically watched all 8 episodes that were out at that time and went to work the next morning like on no sleep. And then I started. I don't even know how I started finding other things. I think Basil's stream was doing live streams, and then from there I found the IRCs, and then from there I found Equestria Daily, and I found like that was kind of my inroad into the fandom. And then it was when I was posting in the FimFiction IRC, because I used to write fanfic. There was someone in there who had found out I was a DJ, and they were like, "Oh, I'm starting up a Brony radio station called Brony Radio," and I'm like, "Sure." It was like this joke thing that was being hosted on a Shoutcast server. And so yeah, that's kind of how I got into that.
All right. Huh.
Nice.
My next question for you is, what is it that you want others to know about your work or take away from your work?
Oh man. Oh god, that's a hard question because none of my work really has. Wow, now I'm having an existential crisis practically because none of my work has the kind of. None of my. I guess I haven't written or remixed anything. Well, no, the remix is coming out is definitely something that is an emotional thing for what I am. So I can't say what it is because I can't say what I'm remixing because it's a hella big surprise. But yeah. I think the biggest takeaway, really, that I try, and this isn't less featured in my work, but just more of my personality, is do what you want to do. If you want to be creative, go out and be creative. Don't let anyone hold you back from being creative. Don't let anyone hold you back from being creative in the way that you want to be creative. You do you. And that's what I want. That's what I'd want people to take away if they see me DJing or they see me up on stage. Like, I'm just a dude who's being creative and making people have a good time. I'm no different than someone who's drawing beautiful pony art. I'm no different than people who are creating wonderful podcasts for everyone to listen to and share around and for people to share stories and as a platform for people to share stories. Be creative in whatever way you want to be and don't let anyone hold you back. Do you? Yeah, that's the easiest way I can put it. And I hope you enjoy my music. I hope people actually enjoy my music and they have a good time listening to my music. So, can you repeat the question again? Just want to make sure I actually nailed all that.
It sounded like it fit for me.
Okay.
I was just, what is it that you want others to know about your work and what you do?
Yeah, that would basically be that. And also, it's if you want to try it, go for it. Like, don't be afraid to try things. Seriously, because you never know what you might fall into. So.
Hopefully not the ether.
Yeah, hopefully not the ether.
Like our
Apparently
past
just
2 attempts
no
to record
ether,
episodes.
Who are some of your inspirations for your work?
Oh boy, inspirations for my work. Man, inspirations for DJing would definitely have to be a lot of the Ottawa crew. So guys like Joe Rowe and Tamarax. These are local Ottawa people that you guys have probably never heard of, but Joe Rowe, Tamarax, Type Zero. They're people in the hardcore and hard dance scene that they kind of keep it real. Crash Override's another great one. In terms of the fandom, there's honestly way too many to count. And I would love to produce like next level Derp does. I would love to be able to produce and master like Strack does. Silva Hound's a massive inspiration for me in terms of how he is, in terms of just how his personality and how he projects himself. I'd love to do social media and promotions like Garnica. In terms of actual big names, definitely Gammer, Dougal, Kotz, and Ravine. AWOL too. AWOL, that's like a hardcore family right there. Like you got AWOL, Kotz and Ravine, Gammer, Dougal. But I mean that one should be obvious because I produce hardcore. Like Gammer is just the one inspiration, and then there's actually like a lot of artists that I draw inspiration from. Frig. I'm just trying to remember them. all off the top of my head, but there's a lot of artists that I also draw a lot of inspiration from. Leakfish, Northern Sprint, uh, Brayburned. I just I really like Brayburn because Brayburn seems to be able to hit the line where yes, he does NSFW stuff, but he also knows when he goes to a convention to like not bring any of that and keep it PG as possible. And I have so much respect for him as a fellow creative artist because I feel there's far too many that when they go to a convention, especially either as DJs or artists, they forget that we are sharing a fandom with little girls. So like they'll be up on the DJ thing and they'll have like these really like crazy lyrics that I'm like, that might not be the best. Like I get that it's a rave, and if this was a rave at like an anime convention, that would be awesome, but it's a rave at a pony con, so you've got to think maybe there's kids dancing, maybe I shouldn't have, the song about that's super sexualized. Maybe not. So yeah.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Like we rate this podcast at as you may have noticed, a kind of a higher rating. Basically, we curse and whatever. The only limit actually is we don't show straight up pornography.
Yeah.
Everything else is like, but when we're at conventions and stuff, we haven't had a very much of official presence at conventions a lot of time. We had a panel at BronyCon a few years back that was for the Fallout Equestria radio play, and but even then it was like, okay, let's keep things PG-13 at most, and because like you said, we have to be aware that there are families present in the fandom, and so it's definitely something to keep an eye out for. So
yeah, and some cons get away with it a bit more because they don't advertise themselves as much to like families. Like for example, Everfree Northwest advertises themselves to families heavy.
Yeah.
Which is why when I was putting my set together for Everfree Northwest, I was like, make damn sure there's no swearing in any of my tracks.
Right.
When I'm putting it together for BronyCan, there's going to be a couple of tracks that are going to drop some F-bombs here and there, but it's not going to be like one track like, F them A's is going to be the chorus or something. Like the only one I think of is the Porter Robinson the Gamma remix of Porter Robinson, All in Your Head. At one point, there's a recording where it's like, yeah, like that's why you effing got into this, was to do this, da 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 da. If you can't do that, then you've got to get out because you're just trapped in your own effing head. Swears twice, and that's the whole song. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Also, inspiration from Nico Wolf, Dirk, yeah, like any one of my friends. Really, I draw so much inspiration from my friends because I feel kind of bad because like I'm just listing off a bunch of my friends, but I have to be real. I draw so much inspiration from my friends because they're my friends. Like,
yeah.
Well, now you got to say the line.
What?
Friendship is
tagline
magic.
of the show we all enjoy.
Friendship is magic. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Got him.
So yeah, really, some of those people I listed, and then everyone else who's a friend of mine, I draw inspiration from.
That's awesome.
So.
All right. Do you have any like dream collaborations? Is there any musician within or outside the fandom that you haven't worked with that you would just love to?
Oh boy. Okay.
Me.
Hey.
Within the fandom, okay. Oh, dude, that's actually that's another one. If we want to talk, that's another one. That dude who I draw inspiration from for personality, Eurobeat Brony. So much inspiration from him because that guy keeps it so real and he keeps himself so out of every piece of drama. And like, but when he does speak and gets involved in something, it's like major serious. Like Eurobeat Brony is the pinnacle of humility and everything in this fandom. And I would love to do a collaboration of some form with Eurobeat Brony. But I know I'm not at that level where I can produce. with him, but I'd love to eventually. So I'd love to do a collab with Yuri Brony. I'd love to do a collab with deadmau5. I know this sounds really weird, but I just love to like. I'd actually love to go on tour with deadmau5 because complete opposite reason of Eurobeat Brony. He just says whatever's on his mind, and he's got like a lot of knowledge. So I feel I'd learn a lot from being with him. I'd have to deal with a lot of like his ranting and stuff, but I just love that. So yeah, deadmau5, Eurobeat Brony, Gammer, of course. Again, like he's the king of hardcore. Like who would I not want to? And another one that people are kind of gonna be like, what? Tekiyo Shino from Japan. I'd love to collab with him. He's a tech DJ and producer out of Japan. I'd love to collaborate with him. So yeah, those would be my dream collabs. In terms, there's a couple vocalists I'd love to work with. MemJ, Feather, and Avril Lavigne. I'd love to have Avril Lavigne do a voice on one of my tracks. I'd actually just love to hang with Avril Lavigne. That would be so cool. And then there is one more, but I'm actually now doing a remix of hers, so, and I'm not going to say who, because that would ruin it.
Okay.
Right.
You'll find out at Brony Can who that is.
All right. Look forward to it. Would you want to sign to a label?
Sorry, would I want to be signed to a label?
Yeah, and which one?
Oh, most definitely. I would love to be signed to the label, and I would love to be signed to Together We Rise. I that would be like my dream label. If Together We Rise was like, yeah, we're interested in having it, I'd be like, yeah, cool, done. Yeah, there's so much that a label. It's kind of interesting. I mean, being on Monster Cat would be cool and all, sure, but it's like there'd be so much that would come with being on Monster Cat.
Yeah.
That it would just be like, oh my god, I'd probably be overwhelmed at this point. Maybe in 2 years, yeah, sure, but yeah, Together We Rise. If like I dropped a remix and Together We Rise was hella hype about it and was like, we want you on our label, like today, like if Together We Rise heard my Mustache Ride remix and was like, that's dope, we want that on our label, I'd be like, yes, please, today. So yeah, Together We Rise for sure.
Wow. What's the best project you've worked on, and why is that? It sounds kind of like it's what you're working on right now for the summer, though, from what you've been saying.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely this project that I'm working on. It's also the most nerve-wracking. Like I said, I'm so anxious about this project because I've got like professional and MIDI roles. I've got all this crazy stuff, and I'm just like, oh my god, I can't let this person down. Like I cannot release something that's crappy. So, that's why I've pushed everything aside. That's why I'm not working on any of my projects but this project until Brony can. So, like, any of the collabs and everything, they're all on hold. They're all on hold because I'm focusing all my energy to this one project. Excluding that, it would have to be Strack Attack's Millennials Remix EP. Being a part of something that was all collaborative and it was really relaxed and everyone was kind of helping out, and Strack was super great for providing support for all of us and getting us in feedback and everything. It was just so great. And then getting that was the first time my track was ever on any form of album, so that would definitely have to be my favorite project. In terms of other projects, working staff for Ottawa Geek Market in Ottawa, it's not pony related, but working staff for Ottawa Geek Market was the best staff experience I've had. Outside of Anime North, but nothing compares to Anime North because Anime North gives all their staff like free food, free hotel, and just a whole bunch of other stuff.
Nice.
So, yeah, like sandwiches, and then there's like they even give you at 7 p.m. after dinner, if you can get to the staff lounge, they've got like ice cream sundaes and stuff for staff.
What?
You can't
Yeah,
pass up free ice cream.
There is a very specific reason for that though, and that's because all the hotels that Anime North books, in order for Anime North to book them, they have to fill a catering budget, and that's like a necessity that has to be done. So Anime North, instead of filling the catering budget and then trying to sell items to make money, they're just like, we'll just feed our staff with this catering budget that we're forced to pay for anyways.
No, that's a plus.
Crazy.
It's a way to do things.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Anime North also brings in like $1 million through and forth, so
Uh-huh.
if
Well,
you
there you
staff
go.
for if you staff for a pony convention, like why can't the pony convention do that? It's because the pony convention isn't pulling in $1 million in revenue every year.
Right.
Yeah, I can speak to that.
Well, pony conventions are definitely a lot more narrow in their focus, among other things. So it's unless you're like BronyCon, you're not gonna even get close to that.
Yeah, yeah, and Anime North pulls in 4 times the attendance that BronyCon does.
Yeah. So for example.
42,000 versus BronyCon's 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Well,
All right.
let's do one last question here, and then we'll get on to episode discussion.
Okay, I suppose we'll do the song that causes the most discussions and arguments within the fandom. What's your favorite pony?
Oh boy, here we go.
Sweet.
Wow, so you just toss that one out there.
I've got 3. Twilight Sparkle, DJ Pond 3, and Luna.
Yeah, Luna all the way.
DJ Pond 3 is pretty obvious. Twilight Sparkle, because I used to be like a bit of a bookworm. I used to be rather studious. And now that she's a princess, I love her character even more. And then Luna, simply because I relate to that kind of dark past and getting over things and then becoming readjusted to everything. Like there's something about Luna's whole story that really resonates with me. So that's why it's those 3. And yeah, like I said, DJ Pawn 3 is really obvious. I once had someone at a con ask me, so why is Pawn 3 one of your favorite ponies? And I'm like, because my name's DJ Midley. I'm a DJ. That's why Pawn 3. But like, why would I'm like, Pawn 3's a DJ. I'm a DJ. That's the only
It's not
reason
that
why.
deep, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there is no more reason. It is a super shallow reason, and that's my reason. So,
I still think it's perfectly valid.
of course. So do I. It's like, whatever. If
Yeah,
someone
you
was
don't
like, I like
need-
Apple.
You don't need to
Someone's
have
like-
this super involved reason for liking a character. Like sometimes
Exactly.
you just
Like-
like a character because you just like a character.
I like Applejack because I'm from Texas, and she's got my southern heart. Perfect. Go you. Like, that's the only reason you like her. Totally okay with that. I mean, even more simple. I like Twilight Sparkle because she's purple. Awesome. Great
Yeah.
for you, man. Like, who the fuck cares? Yeah. Episode discussion.
Yes.
I guess
Okay. So, since
Segway.
the break has come up, so luckily, despite we're not catching up on the episode discussion that got eaten in previous
no.
recordings, because there's just too much, and it's just we need to move on. So we lost some episodes here, and we're just dealing with it at this point. But luckily, because of the hiatus, we don't have that many to catch up on from that point in time. So we're going to start with Applejack's Day Off, where Applejack and Rarity attempt to go to the spa.
Oh, that opening scene. That
Oh, man.
that was the face I looked at and I'm like, that is going to haunt me tonight. I am not going to be able to dream because of that wrinkly, scratchy
I
kind of like. It didn't occur to you to walk out after a while.
I
Looks
like how
great, maybe.
She looks like that dude who got melted by the toxic waste towards the end of RoboCop.
I liked how her horn got saggy.
Right.
It was
Hey,
It was
Nolan.
literally
Yeah.
melting. It was really wax figure Rarity brought to life.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna kill.
Either that or she couldn't hold her marshmallow composition together.
You're an
She's a melted
evil, evil
marshmallow.
man. Go.
She looks like
Turn away.
Emperor Palpatine.
Why?
The Sith
Good.
Lord
What happened?
Rarity.
Goodness.
She does though.
I do like that they gave Aloe more of a speaking role this episode, though.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
That Swiss accent.
Oh yes.
Of course, though.
I liked
Yeah, Did it seem like her accent was like thicker than normal to anyone else?
It
yeah.
did
Oh,
seem a
yeah.
bit, almost a
Super
little
thick.
forced. A bit forced at times.
No word of a lie. When I saw the notes for this, I actually had to like speed watch 2 of those episodes, and like the flutter and one of the other ones we're reviewing, I'm already somewhat familiar, but I had to speed watch the 2 of them because I totally forgot to watch them.
Oops.
So
No worries.
It's all
I
good.
do like that Rainbow Dash had tank slippers on.
Oh yes.
That was a nice nod. That was a nice nod to previous episode there.
I
That was
think
really cute, yeah.
That whole thing with RBD was actually really cool because it's like, yes, you can be athletic and still be into frilly things. It's totally okay.
Yep.
That wasn't one of the main stories in that episode, but it was just kind of this little hint there, which I really, really like, because in too many places, people are like, you need to be like compartmentalized into a box, which is the same
Yeah.
with like AJ liking to go to the spa. Like AJ can be this tough, hardworking pony on the farm, but she can still enjoy her spa time.
And she's very
You know,
picky
it's-
about how she spends her spa time.
Well,
And
she's been known to be hard-headed, though, with when she gets really stubborn.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just like, she had her heart set on that steam, and god damn it, she is gonna have that fucking steam!
Yeah, but that's AJ's character 101. Like,
yes.
it's exactly like when she was doing the Applebuck season way back in season 1, and she was just
Yeah.
like, no, I gotta buck my own apples. And it's like, you do realize you're, almost.
This is a
passive.
I gotta buck my own apples. No, this is a family show. I'm sorry.
I knew.
You
I was
had
like,
to
if
go
anyone
there,
calls me
Stu.
out on that, I'm like, get out.
I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
couldn't let it slide.
You know what I liked was the background music for Applejack Gets to Work.
Right.
When she's working
What does
on
it remind you of?
the pipes at the spa and then again on the farm. I really liked the way that music flowed. I guess.
I also liked the nod to the Mission Impossible music when Twilight's suspended on the rope.
Yes,
I
that
was
was
just about
good
to
too.
comment on that.
All I could hear during the repair thing is Bob the Builder.
Yeah, because she had like a full on, like that looked so Bob the Builder, that the thing she was wearing. What's it called?
Tool
Tool
belt.
belt. Thank you. Words, English, nouns, gerunds, verbs.
Adjectives.
Yeah, now that you mention it, it did look very Bob the Builder-esque. Although I never actually watched that show, so all I know is like the
I have
screenshot
kids.
and
I
then
have
the
watched
meme. Can we build it? And
We
then
can, but we shouldn't.
God, that reminds me of this. I'm getting a little bit off topic. Okay, way off topic here actually, but that where it was Bob the Builder's going, "Can we build it?" And then it cuts to it was one of the many infomercials that God,
What the
OxyClean
fuck?
guy. I can't names right now.
Billy
Jerry
Mays.
Mays. Jerry Mays.
Yeah, Billy Mays.
Oh, Billy Mays, yeah.
So cutting to him going, "Yes, we can," or "Yes, it can." That's what it was. "Yes, it can." It's just like,
Fantastic.
Okay, so I'm going to take us way off topic now. So I just looked to see if there's a Bob the Builder Applejack cosplay, or like Applejack crossover or something, and they've apparently come up with a new Bob the Builder that, oh my god,
okay,
I don't.
link it. We have to see this.
Picture didn't happen.
Sure.
Now, for the episode as a whole, for me it was 2 sections. It was the introduction, first part, I was all through it. Part 2 is when it just went boom. I'm like, are you kidding me? it was like were going good, and then it just came to a screeching halt. I'm like, oh, why did you ruin a good story? You were doing good, and then.
That's
What
mildly terrifying.
is
Ha.
that?
Well then, that is an Applejack Bob?
No,
Apple-
that is literally the new Bob the Builder. I haven't seen anything Applejack crossover.
He looks like he's
It's-
7.
Well, it looks
No.
like he has the head of a 7-year-old on a full adult body.
Ha.
This
And
is where
then-
I'm Bob the Builder, and this is where stem cell research will take us.
And those elbows, man, those elbow joints are just awesome.
I'm
then, of
Bob the
course,
Builder, and I pray for the sweet release of death.
I also found this one. And again, this is me looking for like Bob the Builder Applejack crossover.
Oh gosh.
Like,
Oh my god.
this is entirely unrelated to what I'm looking for. What is wrong with you people? They're hilarious,
Oh,
thank you, but please.
Goodness
Oh.
gracious. Let's
Looking at that.
all right, let's pull things back here before we get too far into deep internet territory. We're already like dangling off the precipice as it is.
Dude, we're looking at an MLG Bob the Builder picture where Bob is smoking a giant fat doobie. I think we're actually way past the point now.
So the day went south, she did the repair thing, whoop-de freaking doo-dah. And Rarity was like, I planned this whole day out. What did you do? You fix stuff. What's your problem, Applejack?
Yo, Rarity seemed way too ticked off for like Rarity as a character. That was the one thing that I was kind of it threw me for a loop. Because I'm like, I don't see Rarity as being someone that would be all that ticked off.
Yeah, I think it was just because she has been trying to spend some time with Applejack for literally months
Mm-hmm.
without success. And then the one chance where they actually get away, and instead of putting her stubborn nature aside for an hour, Applejack's like, no, I gotta fix this.
I gotta fix it now.
I think like what was really and I think it really does kind of go to show like really like I mean the main 6 are all friends like for sure, but there are definitely some that feel like they're a lot closer with each other than others, and Rarity and AJ definitely seem like they're a hell of a lot closer with each other. So I could definitely see like Rarity being like way more annoyed like with the fact that hey, you're one of my closest friends, we're trying to spend some time and you're off working essentially.
Yeah,
Like-
what's the deal? Yeah.
But on the same coin, she'd also understand her friend a bit better and be
Yeah.
kind of, I don't know.
She'd be annoyed, but she wouldn't be like it's the end of the world.
Yeah, as like she wouldn't be as annoyed as it seemed. And I mean, I guess yeah, they've got to like forcefully show that because it's a show and they need to. It's a cartoon show, so they need to make things over the top so you can actually understand the emotion she's feeling. But still, kind of, yeah.
It did seem like it was going a little bit out of its way to try to make it seem like Rarity's like being overdramatic and pissed off, even for Rarity.
So feeding the pigs. Wow, that was some process there. What? This step, like 7 steps. Like, why can't you just feed the pigs? And then, because this was broken, this was broken, this was broken, this was broken, this was broken. Did you fix them? Yes. Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then they just stare at her like, well, then why are you doing the things? You don't need to do the things.
Why y'all look at me that way?
You just need to do the one thing, and that's, feed the pigs.
Pretty much.
Although, good message and all. I mean,
Yeah,
it was in a weird sort of way, it was kind of a good message to where, like, hey, sometimes following a routine isn't 100% necessary, but it was a little bit forced, I think, what they were trying to go for with that.
Yeah, you know what really bothered me was it was part of the montage, so they didn't really explain it. but why, like, Applejack wasn't even watering one line at a time. She would open one valve, turn the main valve on, turn it off, open the second valve, keep the first one open, turn the main valve on and off again. It's like, what is the story behind this? How do you start doing things that poorly?
It made her look like the worst farmer in Equestria to ever exist, and yet that's supposed to be her talent.
Mhm.
I would have thought that episode 1, when she nearly worked herself into insanity, kind of showed that she was one of the worst farmers in Equestria at that point. But
Yeah.
Not worse, most stubborn.
most
Just- I
stubborn.
mean,
Yeah.
just ridiculously stubborn. And what was I going to say? No, but if you think about all the processes and, just the Apple family structure as a whole, you have Applebloom, who's in school, Granny Smith, who's like 7 billion years old, and then Big Macintosh, who I presume does all of the work.
Well,
And they're
Granny
not
Smith
expected to
is
credit for it.
hundreds of years old if we're strictly following what has been established by the show and following things to their logical conclusions.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was there to help found Ponyville, but Ponyville is hundreds of years old.
It's a kid show.
No? What's wrong with us?
This is what I do. I overanalyze everything. Because I'm a nerd! Okay, anyways.
Yeah, you're the writer too, aren't you?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Then we get to the close, and I think the way it wrapped up with them catching Rainbow. Kind of like, we know that you know that we know. So we're going to either let you be embarrassed or go, you know what, we don't care. And I like that near the end, right, as they came back, was like, they did all the consolidating into, you can do all these things at once and have fun with your life. Then they go back to the spa, they come in, and Rainbow Dash is like, ah. And then she splats Rarity and Applejack. Like, oh, I was never here. Kind of like, no, it's okay. It's okay. We accept you.
One of us. One of us.
It's like me and my furry friends.
Oh gosh. I have to say that Mr. Cake didn't seem like he was enjoying that massage from bulk biceps.
God, that was
Yeah.
hilarious. Seeing him in
Why?
the background.
So, big question. Overall, when it comes to Applejack episodes, what do you guys think? Good, bad, meh?
Decent.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I thought it was alright.
It was kind of middle of the road.
Look, we're not a review show. It's not like we're giving it stars or anything.
Oh, we're not. Oh, we're not, because I totally did give that in my notes.
Ah,
Give it a
Too
1.5
bad.
out of 3 hoof rating.
How
We
many
gotta come up with
watermelons do you give it out of
all the
73?
water- Never trust an idiot with a sledgehammer.
Also, it didn't sink in for me right away until I was watching the episode again that the first pony in the steam room line who's talking about owning a mansion and everything is actually Diamond Tiara's mother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
spoiled.
yeah.
kids.
Oh.
I
Didn't know that
I
until
almost threw. You have to think that maybe Applejack doesn't know who she is, or something, because I was going somewhere with this,
And then you got lost.
and I got lost.
Should have brought a map
Mother
with
of-
you.
Because she's an emotionally abusive snob, and she brought that. Okay, here I am. I'm wondering why, if there was a scene where she took her to task for basically encouraging Diamond Tiara to be a spoiled bully. I mean, I think if I had seen, I know it wouldn't have fit in the episode, but just seeing that, I was wondering why it wasn't in the bullying episode itself.
Because it wasn't Applejack it wouldn't have made sense, and I think it would have been a distraction having Applejack featured in that methodology. That was really about seeing the Crusaders tackle that problem head on, and learning about Diamond Tiara up until that point, we were kind of going, okay, what we need to do is like nail it to a tree and burn it with fire.
That would
Lots
have been
of
an
fire.
interesting episode. Anyway, I'm sorry, I got distracted.
So, Flutter Brother, how's that for transition? Let's go.
Goodness me.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna ask this right off the bat. Was this a take that? Did this feel like sort of a take that to anyone else?
I'm not sure
I
what you mean.
believe that was.
What do you mean?
I believe that was addressed already on Jim Miller's Twitter.
Okay, well,
To be me, it felt like, hey, let's actually make an episode in which Fluttershy uses her personality and everything to actually help someone. The Hack did like a mini rant on his Twitter for like 30 seconds, and if you care to go through his timeline, look for Hack's episode review of this, and the way he said about that episode perfectly nails it.
okay.
So that was it wasn't I think it was basically them trying to write Fluttershy as a better character. They were trying to write Fluttershy as being more three-dimensional, whereas especially in like season 1, season 2, and then kind of into season 3, she kind of became a bit of a two-dimensional character, like really shallow character, and it's just them trying to get more of Fluttershy being able to be a strong character, and using and still being Fluttershy, but actually using her personality to do some good, and that's the gist I took out of that episode. So.
I did like it when Zephyr basically said, I don't feel like I'm going to be as good as you are. Because
it's a lot to live up to.
Yeah. And it makes sense. I mean, I guess we could have, like, even Zephyr isn't like Shining Armor or anyone, or Big Macintosh or anyone else.
Oh,
no.
No.
He doesn't own a farm, or he's not the captain of the Royal Guard. He's just a guy, and his sister is basically made friends with a god of chaos and has helped save Equestria, and that can build to an inferiority complex.
You know, it really bothered me through the start of the episode, and I'm really glad that they established that this was not okay. But just how the degree of how poorly he treated their parents, like literally just breaking their shit without a care, pushing everything out of the way, like,
yeah.
Oh my god.
I thought that was building to something, like maybe the mom or the dad would completely lose their shit at some point in the episode.
It was just hard to watch, like.
Yeah.
That's honestly what my biggest problem with I think the episode was is the whole is like I think they were trying to make Zephyr, like, I mean, I get what they were going for. They were trying to like have some unlikable traits with him, but I think they went too far. Like, they made him so unlikable that it was just like he was just being an asshole for like no reason, and inconsiderate asshole for like basically no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can sympathize. Sorry, go ahead. You can sympathize with the character situation, but you can't sympathize with the character himself because he's such a jerk.
Right.
Yeah. Well, on that point, I'm actually going to disagree with all of you. Why I thought the way they played him was a good foil was the fact that you can just see down the lineage. Her mother is completely shy. Her father is completely shy. She's shy. And initially when I thought, we're going to be the parents, they're going to be the biggest party animals in the world. Then I saw them kind of going, oh my god, are they like on some sort of antidepressant or something? They're just so chill. And then Zephyr came in, and initially just kind of going, okay, yeah, he doesn't get limits. But at the same time, I think it's because I related to the situation. I understood the character a bit more. So I can't necessarily. Yeah, he was a jerk, but at the same time, I don't think he realized he was being a jerk. I think for him, that was okay and it was normal in his mind.
That may be the case, but that honestly just makes the situation worse.
I just, brothers, one thing I don't get is how come. I was looking through the episode, and the only thing I could think of was, dude, Mr. Shy, your hair looks like strawberry pudding.
I was like, is it gonna slide off? Is it gonna start melting here in a minute or two? Is this like ice cream? Is it soft serve or something? Like, what the hell? Who does?
Okay, like, dude, seriously, how is it that you can be a hairstylist and yet your own hair is like complete mess? Like every hairstylist I know, their hair is like this crazy rainbow of color, like styled this like insane way, and you're just like, yeah, you can tell you're a hairstylist because you've basically put together some crazy ass funky hairstyle that like no one else could pull off, but you rock it because you know how to do it. And you're just like, what is wrong with your hair?
To be fair, he didn't even like graduate his course until the end of the episode, so
he technically dropped out really until they talked him into going back.
Right, but my point is, like, he may have had some of the knowledge, but he was clearly not putting in the effort, and so I think that showed not just in the mannequin thing that he had, but in his overall presentation.
The mannequin thing.
Yeah, which
the head. I don't remember what the
yeah.
technical term for it is.
It was like a mannequin head thing, yeah.
He ended up naming it Wigford in his interpretation of Castaway in the forest there.
Oh,
yeah.
That's what I was getting to. Although I was also thinking too of like there was a wrestler named Al Snow who would carry around a head and like talk.
Yeah, I remember him. I remember him. Yeah.
What was its name? Was it what? Oh crap! What was that puppet's name? Mr. Sacco? Was that it?
No, that's Mick Foley. No, that was Mick Foley. There was another. This was the dude like just they carried around a mannequin head that was just named Head.
Ah.
Alright.
Okay.
That's unusual.
How it was. His every single interaction between him and Rainbow Dash.
Ugh. It's so painful.
I love that.
I love that Rainbow Dash wasn't taking any of his shit. Like, the second that she was in charge of making him do stuff, she was just like, not an inch.
I love the scene where like he was like trying to like get close to her and like she was reading a book and she just like kind of casually like shoved him away with her wing. That was really funny.
Yep. God, that was great. How many people have done shipping between the two of them now, though? Like,
I hope none because that relationship is awful.
Well, the thing is, at the end of the episode, I love the end of the episode. I think it was the mother who looked at her and okay, he's been pining for you for a while now. I'm glad you decided to give him a second chance. And that's just like, the fuck you just say?
No. She said, I know you've been pining for him.
Yeah,
that's what put Rainbow Dash off so much, because she was just like, no, I haven't. That is the exact opposite of what I've been doing this entire time.
That's one thing that puzzled me. Okay, it's enough. It's a small point, I know, but it still bothered me. They met Shining Armor. I mean, to the audience, he was introduced out of left field, but the ponies had to meet him themselves. They had to be introduced to them. With the Zephyr Breeze, I kind of got the implication that at least Rainbow Dash had known who he was for a while. Anyone else get that vibe?
The second, during the opening sequence, you could just tell both Dash and Fluttershy knew who he was. And like, oh no, not this guy again.
Well, the thing is, Dash and Fluttershy have been friends long before any of the other, long before the pilot. Because remember, they were friends like when they were little kids.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's
So-
very
Except
possible
for-
that she would have met him back when he was like she went out to hang out in his house while they were in high
diapers.
school.
Yeah, when he was in
Yeah.
diapers. Yeah.
Yep.
But Zephyr knew of Fluttershy's other friends, though. Like, he knew Pinkie Pie. He didn't know the name, but he knew generally, like, what she was about.
Well,
Mhm.
theoretically, everyone in Equestria knows who the main six are because they're kind of,
Repeated
I
heroes.
yeah.
Literally
They
saved
know.
the world multiple times.
Yeah, but depending on the episode, they may or may not care.
So, and the episode for a whole, with me, and I'll just hit this right out. Yes, this was an episode that basically said, "Hi, millennials, we're talking about you."
I didn't get that feeling.
Really?
And I am more.
I thought it was
I didn't
more
really
of a-
get that vibe either.
I thought it was
No.
more of a take that at people who hadn't moved out of their families' houses yet.
Right?
More
And-
than I didn't get a millennial vibe.
Yeah.
Well, not
I mean,
even that. Not even that. Now that I'm sorry, Midley, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's all good. Like I said, it's not a dig at millennials. It's a dig at like people who are living back in their parents' basement and have no drive to get out. For example, I'm back living with my parents right now. However, the difference is I'm kind of situationally here because of a bad breakup and everything falling apart in Ottawa. I could, I'm. It's kind of like a temporary thing. It's basically aimed at the people who have been living with their parents and leeching off their parents for God knows how long. So.
Yeah, like Zephyr's situation is he's quote unquote just until he gets back on his hooves, which is
Yeah.
ideally what would actually be happening. Like in Midley's
Mhm.
case, is what's happening, but
He's taking advantage of it, and he's
yeah.
saying
Exactly.
that's the thing, but that's not actually the case.
It's like I'm still living at home, but I'm trying to gain employment. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
It's catchy. It's a very good song. It's very catchy.
he's taking advantage of their
He's not.
the
Really?
fact
They're
that
trying.
they love him
They're just
because he's their son, and so of course they don't want to see him out on the street starving to death or whatever, which is the position that a lot of parents get stuck in when they have kids like that, where
Mhm.
they have no drive to really go and have any sort of support, self-support or drive whatsoever. Because like even just living with your folks isn't a bad thing in and of itself.
Mhm.
Living with your folks and not contributing to the household in any way, shape, or form, like not even trying to,
Right.
that's when it becomes a problem.
Like,
And
don't-
like how Zephyr was literally steamrolling them and not respecting their space or their ownership of the household, literally breaking their shit at pretty much every possible opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Taking complete advantage of their passivity, and it was exactly that. Just all three of them were passive, and he's like, he became the dominant personality in the environment. Not that it was a good thing, but when you have people that just lie down and just kind of go, "Oh, it'll work itself out," what do you expect?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I did like the random background pony, though, that people are talking about for the episode.
Oh, the Link pony.
The Legend of
Yep.
Zelda pony.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
yes.
great.
And then Fluttershy swearing.
They're saying Link pony,
Yes.
but
it
I
makes
feel like
me
that
so
could just as easily-
peeved.
I feel like that could just as easily be a ponified version of Epona, just because of the white streak down the muzzle and the
Mhm.
forehead.
That
I
could make sense
think
too, yeah.
probably it was just a Legend of Zelda reference on the whole.
Yeah.
They- with the hat and all, it was a clear reference to Link, but like you said, with the patterning, it did look a lot like Epona. So,
I just thought of an obvious joke. You hear all these crashes, and they're like, "What did Zephyr break now?" I didn't break the pots this time. Wasn't me.
Jeez.
It would have been really. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was also confused. Someone brought up the whole peeved thing being like apparently this horribly offensive word now in Ponyville, and I didn't get that either.
I guess what they were going for with that was they were trying to like say like, oh, it's Fluttershy using like such a, because I mean peeved peeved.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just like a term for like, I mean, peeved is like a term for like, you're really kind of mad about something, and it's just like, oh, Fluttershy's really mad about something.
Yeah, that in and of itself is unusual, and also in an environment where it's supposed to be harmony existing, when you have that level of like obvious tension from someone, it's like, what the heck? Like seriously, I really don't want to handle this.
Yeah, well, it was just the joke. You know, obviously they can't actually swear on My Little Pony. So what do they do? To make the joke that of all the ponies out of the main 6, it's Fluttershy is the one who's swearing. They have her swear using a word that isn't actually a swear word. By our standards.
Yeah.
So that's the joke, is just, oh my god, Fluttershy swore.
Next you'll be saying, "Hey Zephyr, you want to come check out my shed?"
Hey, go fuck yourself.
Well then.
So, since we're spicing things up.
Oh gosh. Oh, I did look up some information on a couple of the new voice actors from that episode as well. The actor playing Zephyr, Ryan Beale, is apparently an actor and comedian as well. He's a big Canadian comedian, and I guess his big role that he's most known for is as Ryan the trainee in all of the A&W ads. And then David Godfrey, who voiced Mr. Shy, is a member of the cover band Glider and the Queen tribute band Bohemian Rhapsody.
Huh.
That's awesome. I've actually listened to some of their music.
That is so cool.
That's
maybe they'll have that in a future episode where it turns out he's a rad guitarist or something.
Yeah. Oh, I linked up a few of the remixes I like too for the song from that episode. There was one from Joined the Herd, of course. They've been doing a lot of remixes lately, like really fast. Apparently that one was done in like 4 hours after the episode aired. And then the other one's from a South Korean musician named Hemi, I believe, is how you pronounce that.
Rock on.
So segueing to the spice and spice up your life.
Angry Indian, not. Fuck. Was he even given a name in the episode? Coriander cumin.
Coriander cumin.
Yes.
Coriander cumin is best angry papa.
He is.
I really
beats out
I really
Landlord.
I really liked their designs, like visually.
Yeah.
Saffron is so goddamn cute.
She was. Yeah, we had the fortunate of it being streamed at the convention, so we got another episode, and yay! And I was bouncing back and forth, and all of a sudden you hear this song, I'm like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, this is weirdly catchy.
It's a very easy song to dance to, for sure.
It had like kind of like a very like Bollywood musical kind of like feel to it, which I'm sure was entirely intentional.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting up a few more remixes.
Awesome.
I'll fix the link names after the show, but I'll get them in the bullet points here now.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Although I guess starting off the episode though, like kind of to do a kind of a short like side note for a second. Hey, Starlight's there, and she, did a thing, and didn't say anything.
But they brought the map back. Yay!
Yeah, the map's back, which that's gonna be a cool element.
Twilight and Twilight and Twilight's Castle.
Twice S. No, what was it? I love the look that Starlight had on her face when Pinky's saying "party, party, party," and she's looking at her kind of going, "What is wrong with you?"
I just like that Spike can't let what Starlight did go. He's still just calling her out every chance he gets.
Yeah.
Yes, when she did that.
I think
Twilight
Shu
just sounds so
appreciates
mad.
that too.
I really
Yeah.
do. And I know it's kind of petty, but I just felt, yeah, that's cathartic.
And apparently a lot of the ponies in the second grand reopening of the Tasty Treat were designed to resemble actual celebrity chefs.
Yeah, that was
Mhm.
interesting.
Yes, certainly somebody.
I was a little disappointed we didn't get more about their personalities, though. Like, we could have seen the Gordon Ramsay pony throwing something and saying, "This isn't what I ordered!"
Just randomly call
So
someone
we
a
are on the
doggy.
Saffron Masala episode. For anyone who's listening to the podcast, I just had to BRB to eat food. Amusingly enough, supper tonight was butter chicken. How about that for
nice.
irony?
Well, that'd
That's
be ironic if we
fantastic.
were talking about a Scootaloo episode.
Sorry. I was just saying I used the wrong word. It's not
It's okay.
ironic. It's amusing, whatever.
Appropriate.
It's
Yeah.
a
Delicious.
conspiracy.
I like that. Delicious. Yeah, I haven't had dinner yet, so
I had to
I would get to eat until after we're done recording.
My
I
dinner was
downed a
simple.
bunch of salami and crackers before we started, so I wouldn't have to stop and go get dinner.
We had hamburgers and I had chips in case we needed them. But where were we here?
Apparently, our podcast is now about food. So.
Yeah.
It's
The
all
whole
about
the
food.
episode
It's
was
all
about
about
food.
food.
I thought it was interesting where like when they first went out to try to save the restaurant and everything, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, Pinkie Pie obviously is gonna be the one who could bring all the ponies in, and Rarity of course is the one who can make sure that everything is as presentable and attractive as possible. And
And they
then
both failed spectacularly at
Yeah.
their jobs.
it's just-
Yeah.
Because of the evil food critic.
well,
Mhm.
not just that, but because in this particular circumstance, like it was actually Rarity's connections that made her better for bringing people into the restaurant, and Pinkie Pie's specialty for just being true to yourself
Pinkie Pie.
regardless of what anybody else thinks, like just not giving a shit about other people's opinions, basically, and just
Mhm.
letting yourself shine for what you are. That
Which
worked better for this episode. I thought that it was great that they showed that even though, you know, you can be good at something, sometimes the circumstance changes what's appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I thought that was an interesting subversion, I guess, of what would normally be the obvious tasks for those characters.
I love.
It was really unexpected, but like, I'm sorry, Mickey, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead, Mer. You started.
Oh, sorry. No, it was a good, like, it was unexpected, but like really cool in the way they did it. Like,
Well, yeah, like
it
it
wasn't
made
just
sense.
oh yeah exactly, yeah, it made sense for like the situation, and it's like, yeah, initially you thought, well, it was a good, like, it was a good subversion. I thought they executed it very well.
One of my favorite lines was at the end of the second act was as they came back, Pinkie Pie looked at Rarity and said, "Rarity, what did you do?"
That whole thing where like Pinkie Pie and Rarity were like getting at each other, like, you didn't bring anyone and you ruined the restaurant. It's like they butted heads, and then as Jake and Starbine were saying, it turned out like, their method of thinking wasn't what needed. It was they needed to switch over, which was so
Exactly.
great. And I didn't even notice that until I didn't even think about that until he pointed it out.
No, it did make sense that they were both trying to do each other's jobs and they were doing them poorly. And I'm seeing the whole thing. I kind of went, yeah.
That,
I'm sorry. I'm derailing things again. I just had to point out how weird it was to be called Starbine.
It's actually, amusingly enough, it's because my Skype call symbol was over your name, so all I could see was DA. So I'm like, oh, all I can read is Starbine. So
Yeah. I figured it was something like this. Like, oh well, he can't see my first name for some reason, but it was just because most people call me Dalkin. I was like, Starbine.
Well, it could have been worse. I could have been like Mr. Starbine.
Yeah, right. Like I do have a friend who actually calls me Mr. Starbine.
Mr.
Ironically,
Starbine,
like
the
that.
head of Equestria and Astronomy.
He's all like making fun of being professional. It was actually from a different podcast that I used to work on. So he's like, "How are you doing today, Mr. Starbine?" He was in charge of like...
I understand your weird feeling, because when people started calling me Midley IRL, it was really weird for the first little bit, and now it's funny. I actually prefer people to just call me Midley.
Yeah.
Because it's the name that I'm so used to. Like, people who know me IRL referring to me by my real name, it's like, and even then, like, people cannot call me by my full first name, because it throws me off. I'm like, just short form it.
Yeah.
I think it's a good time for discussion. I mean, I'm okay for being known by either or, but as I've been known to the fandom, I'm used to people using by my nickname or other name. It doesn't matter to me. I think it's situational. It depends on how well you're known, truth be told.
Exactly.
I mean, I would never expect Mando Pony to give out his real name. I know it, but it doesn't matter because everyone knows he's Mando Pony. Same thing with Sibsy, same thing with Pixar Kitties. I know their names, but it's not important.
I know Leakfish's real name, but I can't see myself calling it ever. I'm like, she's Leakfish. Like, it is what it is. Yeah. Getting back to the episode, though, I loved that episode, but that episode annoyed, and I hated watching that episode, but I loved that episode. I love it. Like, it's weird. I love the episode, and I hated it. I loved it because the overall lesson about people should like what they like regardless of what anyone says, and that thought leaders shouldn't be a thing, and if someone's not eating because of it, and like whoever that character was, I didn't catch the name, the Gordon Ramsay pony, I just wanted to punch that character in the face.
Actually, Gordon Ramsay pony was a background pony.
Oh, okay, Zesty. Oh, sorry. So Zesty normal. I just wanted to punch them in the face because it's
the White Walker pony.
Are everything I disagree with, and like I'm so glad that like everyone like pushed away. It's like, oh, it's because we like this stuff. Like like what you like regardless of what anyone says. I don't care if they're a critic. I don't care if they're supposedly a gigantic expert in their field. You like what you like. If you like it, you like it.
Yeah, definitely.
If you don't like it, then you don't like it.
I actually go off about this a lot, as the folks from the EBC chat can attest. The difference between taste and quality, and that quality, regardless of how applicable it is, has no bearing on taste, as far as, or at least very little bearing on taste, as far as art goes, of any kind. You can like stuff that, technically speaking, by whatever generally accepted standard, is bad. But that doesn't really matter. If you like it, you like it, and that's great. If you don't, that's fine too.
Listen to harsh noise music. I don't like harsh noise music, but if someone likes harsh noise music, all the power to you.
Exactly. Like,
yeah.
And I don't like. My brain stopped working. I don't like that my brain stopped working.
I think that's something we can all generally agree on.
Yeah, indeed.
But anyway, the point was already made anyway. So, Uh, I do really like that too, personally.
Yeah,
That's
that whole episode was great to watch. I love the episode, but it was aggravating to watch because it just brought up so much raw emotion in me. It's like I just want to punch that pony in the face.
Exactly. Yeah, Zesty Gourmand just.
And that whole,
it's difficult
especially,
when. Go ahead, finish your point. I'll follow up in
especially
a
the
second.
end of the episode where he's like, "Why are you all here? I haven't even given this restaurant a hoof," and it's just like, because no one cares about your opinion, you fucking elitist. Go.
Yeah.
My biggest issue
Go fuck
with
yourself.
anything is elitism. I hate elitism in any circle, in any idea. Like the concept of like you are nothing as a musician in the fandom unless you're on Equestria Daily or Horse Herald or Cider Party. Like fuck all of
You
that.
know what I thought was especially interesting? It was a side character in an episode that wasn't voiced by Tabitha St. Germain.
For once, yeah. But on that, on that point, Midley, yeah, I completely get that. I mean, it's always difficult when you have one self-declared expert basically coming into your art and mowing over it just because they can.
Yeah.
Now, are those people necessary? Yes. Sometimes they need to come in and give you a check to kind of, help to balance yourself out. But when they just come in with the preconceived notion that everything you're going to offer them is below their expectations, that really, I mean, it doesn't matter how well they say it, you leave feeling like everything you've done is meaningless.
Exactly. It's like if they mean no disrespect to Equestria Daily, Horse Music Herald, or Cider Party. It's just as a musician, people, it's like you can still be a great musician and not have been on Equestria Daily, Cider Party, or Horse Music Herald.
Mm-hmm.
Is it great that when you get on them? Fuck yes. Is it a nice little check? Yes, but like your worth as a creative person is not based on whether or not your work gets picked up and shared on any one website or any one critic. Your worth as a creative, you are always worth it. As a creative person, you always have worth, regardless of what you're doing. Is it great that you've got people that can critique, and is it great that there's people that can critique out there? Yes, because that's what you need that to improve. But is that the be all and end all? No. Not at all. And I mean, let's be honest here. If you're in creative work to try and please someone, you're in creative work for the wrong reason. You need
all
to be
the
in
wrong reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to be in creative work because you like it. But that's a whole other segue. So, and I'm
That's
throwing my
beautiful,
hands up. You
Midley.
can't see it.
That's beautiful, man.
The short of that is just, if you're not in creative work because you enjoy it, you're going to hate every minute of it. So just don't do it because it's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why when people come up to me and ask me as a DJ, hey, Midley, I want to be super famous like you, and how do I DJ? And I'm like, don't. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, just don't. You want to DJ for the wrong reasons. You're not going to survive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do it because it's fun.
Road path to misery. Yeah.
Exactly. I started off by DJing to 2 people on Brony radio, 2 fucking listeners, in some cases no listeners, and I still loved it to bits because I love DJing. If you're getting into it for the popularity, you're not going to survive that period of or anything. You're not going to survive that period of not being discovered.
And I do think that there's a creative outlet for everybody, but it's going to be different for everybody. So
Exactly.
it's definitely worth it to explore stuff and find what is fun for you and then go for that. Because then it's going to be worth it no matter what. But if you're doing it just to get followers or whatever, viewers, subscribers, blah, 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 you're going to be miserable.
Yeah.
That's, what's interesting, and this is going back to Zesty Gourmand, is if you can easily compare and contrast her to Hoity Toity from season 1, except Hoity Toity's reviews weren't, at least in my opinion, incredible. They were harsh, but I think he was speaking more out of a sense of honesty and genuine love for what he was doing, because the vibe I got from him was he was being honest to Rarity, not as a way to put her down, but basically saying, you suck now, but I know you can do better, which is why it's especially disappointing. But Zesty Gourmand was just saying, you suck, you're horrible, no one should eat your food, you should just quit now.
Yeah. Hoity's review was the example of constructive criticism because she's kind of going, I know what you're capable of, and then I'm seeing this, and they're like, this isn't you. Stop doing that. Do what you do best.
You guys cannot see me nodding my head, but I am nodding my head so much because that compare and contrast is fab.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great example of the difference between taste and technical skill.
Flavor.
Yeah. And Zesty was also designed to basically be the epitome of the stereotyped food critic that's a huge villain in every movie even that you see. So they did a good job in handling it that way.
They all have to look like Horsey David Bowie.
You know what Gourmand is personified? Urban, I think it's Urban. It's one of the review websites, and I want to say it's Urban Spoon. It's the one reviewing website where if I see that restaurant has low ratings on it, I just ignore the website entirely. Because I think it's like Urban Spoon or something where these reviewers are bad mouthing the crap out of Denny's. They're like, the food is this. It's like you're going to a Denny's. The rating.
Realistic expectations of people.
Yeah, realistic expectations. They rate Denny's and all these restaurants. So when I see some of the reviews on there for these decent, mom and pop shops, and they're 1 or 2 star rated, I'm like, that's because some are the elitist, gourmet frigging foodie is no. And I'm like, hate that.
Mm-hmm.
So frigging stupid in the food and restaurant market. It's you have to go into restaurants. If you go into a gourmet restaurant, you expect gourmet food. If you go into McDonald's, you're expecting McDonald's. You're not going to go and vote for McDonald's based on experiences at a gourmet restaurant because it's just dumb.
Right.
Yeah.
McDonald's didn't fulfill my order of a filet mignon.
We serve cheeseburgers here.
McFilet mignon. McYon.
This is a bit of a joke, but it's also a bit of an observation. More joke, more observation. Zesty Gourmand and Rarity's mother are the only 2 ponies in the entire history of the show that I have seen that wear pants. No, think about it. Rarity's mom wore the tennis pants, and Zesty Gourmand wore those black trouser things, and we see ponies with shirts and ruffles and things. Those are the only 2 that have ever been seen wearing trousers.
I can think of a couple that are wearing trousers. Because wasn't the dude from Winneapolis? Wasn't he wearing pants?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, by the way, this is going to go over pretty much everyone's head, but the moment I saw him, I completely was like, I think Final Draft got himself into the show. Because that dude reminded me entirely of Final Draft. Who's also from Minnesota.
I was there when the episode aired, and the second that reference came up, the entire audience was like, yay, we are, awesome, fantastic, awesome. It was a reference, get over yourself. Yeah. And I can see, now the thing is, Draft is not that Norwegian at all.
This is true, but I was referring to the
look.
Visual.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, nailed it totally.
Yeah. So.
Easy. I also looked up a few of the voice actors in this episode.
I was just about to do that. I was just about to do that, Saul. You completely beat me to it.
Who was
I pulled this up before we even started this. There's a few I couldn't find anything on. The voice actress for Zesty Gourmand is Fiona Hogan, and her big movie role is she voiced the AI of Vicky in iRobot.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. And then she's also
Hogan. Is that
she's
Hogan?
also voiced Dr. Allison Reed in Alienator's Evolution Continues and Junko Ariyoshi in Arjuna.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Is she Hulk Hogan's sister, kid? At all?
I have no idea.
What about Saffron's VA?
That's Diana Karina, and she's voiced Barbie in several of the Barbie films that have been released. Let me see if I have that.
She also
Barbie
voiced Arya
Princess.
too, if I remember right.
Yeah, she was the voice of Arya in Rainbow Rocks, Arya Blaze.
Really?
Yeah, voiced
And
Barbie.
we all know who voiced Coriander Cumin. It was, of course, the talented Mr. Lee Tucker.
Yeah,
Oh, I did not
Uh,
know that actually.
Diana's also voiced Lily Bowman and Lolly Rock and Kelly and Shizao.
By the way,
Oh.
Saffron Masala's character is adorable and so cute.
Oh, she's awesome character. I love this.
So
true.
cute. I just love her, and I want to go looking for fan art of her, but I'm just kind of looking at her overall look, and I have a feeling there's a lot of NSFW art of her. I just have this gut feeling.
There
Oh,
is.
you knew the first 5 minutes after they were already at it. You had your John Jacekis of the world, another R34 artists were just having a field day.
How do you spell Vicky's first name for Vicky Hogan?
Oh, Fiona Hogan?
Oh, Fiona. Oh, that's fine. Because I looked up Vicky Hogan, and I guess some Supreme Court or some judge in Pierce County. Yeah.
What?
But it's Fiona Hogan.
Fiona Hogan. Okay.
Yeah, like Saf's, or I almost called her Saf. Saffron's character. Saffron. This is probably only funny to like only Logan and Dolgan, but like yeah, Saf's like overall character design, like it didn't stray too super far from like any of the other like female, like at least in body types anyway, but like just the little details and stuff. Like I liked that her ears were a lot more pointed. She had like kind of a different facial structure. Her hair and her mane was just absolutely like just all the floof, and it just so worked well with her.
And
Plus,
her
is
eye
she
design was pretty
the only
unique,
pony.
too.
Welcome back.
And has she been the only pony with ears pierced?
I think Zakora has one of her ears pierced.
Yes, she does.
Oh, right.
Okay, I now understand why her name sounded so familiar to me.
What's that?
What?
Freddy got finger. Yeah.
Ooh.
Freddie got. Yeah, that she was in the really horrible parody movie that Tom Green did. So.
You're gonna have to be more specific there, Chief.
Freddie got, and then I'm not saying the rest of it.
Okay.
So.
Because Tom Green's done a lot of really horrible parody movies.
It was the.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm very sympathetic that you had to see it.
Tom Green grew up in Ottawa, so I know people that knew Tom Green as like friends, because I know people who went to high school with Tom Green.
Really?
Yes.
But yeah, Saffron Masala is adorable. She's got an adorable face. And,
I'm hoping that there's lots of well-done plushies made.
Mm-hmm. Her dad is cute too. He's
Oh yeah,
like,
coriander cumin.
yeah, he's got like, he sort of looks like my dog. So he does. No, I have an English Bulldog wire hair Jack Russell Terrier mix. Who has
Say
the
that
same
5
sort
times
of
fast.
who has the same sort of who has the same sort of rotund body type and sort of fullness in the cheeks. And whenever he looks upset, he has the exact same expression. I mean, the exact same expression.
Their interactions I thought were also like just really well done. Like their back and forth with like just it felt so natural with like it felt like, you know, a father and daughter that have been doing this like for years. Yeah. I love the little like just the little details they have in their relationships, like the whole like is she, you know, do it again, Saffron was hiding was hiding like ingredients that she didn't like, and then they had a nod to that like during the montage, and like it was a really really cute relationship. Like you could tell that they really, despite like them kind of spending like more or less most of the episode like kind of fighting with each other and stuff, they really care for each other.
This episode,
great.
I think this episode personally would have worked a lot better as an ensemble episode with only Pinky and Rarity as perfunctionary parts. Like they were there, but it was more focused on Saffron and Cumin than it was on Pinkie Pie and Rarity. That's just my
because it was about them. And I was about to say, I love the fact that they were able to do such character building so quickly, and it was interesting. Because we've had character structure that was kind of like, yeah, I don't care. And this is like, dang, I'm really drawn into this character development. I want to see what happens. I want actually felt positively when when they were fighting and when they weren't fighting. It was nice to see them be normal.
Yeah, and the artistry for like even just the backgrounds that were behind the ponies of like the restaurants and all the different settings was really like just visually striking and interesting just because we don't see like other cultures a whole lot. So it was really cool to see them tackle that.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of artwork, let's move on to our fan features.
Yes.
Yay.
So, I said speaking of artwork, but actually half our fan features are music. So,
I started a trend, which no one will know about because of the ether.
Well, I mean, I was gonna show people, you know, stuff from my Redbubble store, but you know that wasn't pony enough, and you know.
Yep. I'm
Go for
all
it, man.
elitist, cause I was like, that's not pony enough.
I had some awesome pants with my new DJ logo, like emblazoned down them that you can get at my Redbubble store, but that wasn't pony enough apparently. So.
Well, you know what? We can
asleep.
include
Post
the link to your
non-ponies.
Redbubble store under your community guest section in the show notes. All right, I'll put it in there, and it'll be good, and people can get your logoed pants.
Assuming the computer doesn't decide to eat it again.
Right.
Yeah,
Clearly, what you need to do.
I've theoretically, knock on wood, figured out the problem with the editing and everything as far as it eating stuff, so it shouldn't be a problem going forward.
Yay!
So Midley, evidently what you need to do is for your logo, just make it so that it's all made out of ponies for the letters, and then it'll be pony enough.
Exactly.
No offense to, you know, anyone in the pony fandom, but I've got to keep my logo as, you know, generic as possible because, you know, it's the logo I use not just for pony stuff.
Okay.
So, why don't you tell us about this ultraviolet you got here? What's this all about here?
Ultraviolet, it's a track of Stracatax, my good Canadian brother out here on the West Coast. It's a track that he made inspired off of Twilight's big battle with Tyrek, where she was, you know, going crazy and doing all that crazy lasering stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got some really nice VO in it from an old, I think it's an old science featurette on the various forms of light, and it's got some crazy amazing wobbles to it. Just the build-ups and breakdowns are so amazing. I got to hear it in his car, actually. We were hanging out last weekend. I got to hear it in his car, or truck I should say, on his amazing speakers. Awesome. So yeah, I just had to give a shout out to my Canadian brother. I mean, I could have done my Mustache Ride remix of his. I could have dropped that, but that just would have felt too much like shameless self-promotion. So I decided to drop his Ultraviolet track. So yeah.
Oh, definitely give it a listen here in a minute or two. Yeah, it sounds awesome.
Yeah, I
That
do
one
like
got
the string synth he uses on the main rhythm in the opening there. That keeps going through.
And,
Got so much music to listen to after this episode.
That could
Me
really,
too.
me
too.
He was a little surprised because it got Equestria Daily feature music, and he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, of course. It's an amazing track. Like, of course it would have." So yeah, that's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, dubstep. That brings me
To a great song.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. My brain stopped working. Anyways, okay, I guess I'm up next.
You are.
Sorry, I was really getting into this. All right, so mine's not that new release. It came out back in April, so it's still kind of recent, but it's also of an old. It's a cover. Awkward Marina did an acapella cover, and I go nuts for acapella shit. Of Aviators Open Your Eyes.
Oh, nice. That's a nice track.
And,
Very good song.
So yeah, it's and it's really well done arrangement. So it's actually been making me want to do some acapella stuff now that I actually know how to do that kind of thing, and because I can actually do like vocals So. Yeah, just great, fresh take on a song from kind of older days of fandom, I guess. Nostalgia. I don't know.
It's a good track. Like, it's a really good track with the way everything's like arranged and stuff. And I'm not normally a huge fan of like acapella like covers or anything, but this was good enough that it really sold me. That I'm like, this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
All right, so sorry.
I'm sorry. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Early days of the fandom. Open your eyes is midpoint fandom right now.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
2013, I was like, wait, that came out in like that came out in 2013, 2014. Like early days is like Silverhound's Vinyl Scratch or like
Luna?
Odyssey Eurobeats Discord or Luna or anything by Chain Algorithm, who I still have no idea what the hell happened to him. Or
in my brain, anything 2013 and earlier kind of gets slated automatically into early fandom, even though you're right, it is more mid fandom at this point.
Right now. I mean,
wasn't that like the last year too that Cat's Millionaire put out stuff?
Yeah, that was the last year. A lot of them. That was like the last year that like So Great and Powerful put out anything. Chain Algorithm put out anything.
Cat's Millionaire.
Yeah, and a whole bunch of other ones that like 2013 was the year that they were like, we're gonna disappear now.
Bye.
Well, maybe they figured that after 3 years, the direction of the show wasn't going the way they thought it was going to. Maybe it's kind of we've talked what we want to talk about, and we're going to go to something else.
But I think that's why in my head I kind of wind up delineating that as a separation point, is because that's when a lot of people stopped doing stuff in the fandom, and so it was kind of a transitory period.
Guys, we are taking way too much time at what was an off-the-cuff remark, jokingly prodding at him.
No! We have to keep talking about it for another hour!
I make an off-the-cuff remark and was like, segue! And I'm just like, oh,
nah.
God.
Nah,
son.
This is how we do things on this very professional and organized podcast.
We are not professional around here, ladies and gentlemen. Totally.
Anything goes.
So anyway, Shu, you have a thing.
Yes, this is from an artist named Daniel SG. And he does a lot of comics and stuff that I'm very fond of. Like he's done some Luna and some Celestia and stuff like that. And all of his artwork is genuinely adorable. And now I picked this one for several reasons. One, it's Fallout Equestria, and Dalk and I and most of the other members of this group are heavily into Fallout Equestria. Two, I just find the...
I wouldn't call it Fallout Equestria in particular. It's Fallout and Ponies crossover, but...
Yeah, but that's my second point. Two, I think that even though it's a devastated atomic horror, in this particular situation, it's kind of heartwarming that Fluttershy can be like, yay, a puppy! And three, it's a very cute pick, but this is particularly why I like it. Looking at the dog's eyes remind me of some of those gray aliens.
He reminds me of a Funko Pop figure.
Yeah, and I really like this art style and design, and
It makes me think of the comics, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that too.
I was about to say this. His art style is very similar to how they do it in the IDW comics.
Yeah.
Yes. So what does the SG stand for in his name? Is he a Stargate fan?
I don't know.
It stands for sucky guns because he can't draw guns well.
Really?
Are you serious?
Well, I don't know. No,
I
I'm just
No,
commenting. I'm just
of
commenting
course
because
he's
that's
completely serious. We need to start drama, because we talk about drama on this podcast, even though we don't actually know. So we
Although
have to
he's
make
also
our
done-
own.
I mean, this is a work of one of his comics that I really like. It's Sunset Shimmer, finding out what's inside Party Fellows. And that ending scene, no matter how much I scrub, the blood won't wash off my hands. The fluffy, sugary, delicious. It's just.
No, I was about to say, because that's my only issue out of everything in this piece, is the gun is off. And I think the only reason that really jumped out at me is because I have a gun license and I'm familiar with especially rifles. So,
Yeah,
but
these
hey,
are, these are like, pony rifles.
exactly, they're pony rifles, so like suspension of disbelief, and it's way better than, for example, my Judy Hopps figure that I am sitting here looking at, and her finger is straight through the trigger, and every time I look at the figure, all I'm thinking of is trigger control, trigger control, trigger control, and it irritates the heck out of me.
Oh, you too. I'm glad I'm not the only one that looks at that and just is like, what the hell? Come on. Like,
You have the Hopps figure too,
the Disney Infinity one.
yeah. Oh, it's so annoying, and it's like she's a cop, so she'd know better. It's like Disney. Oh, so cringe-inducing.
Sly
Yeah.
Fox, Dumb Bunny.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, no, the pieces. I like the background in that piece, like the detail that they went through in the background. Like there's like the rocket ship looking turned over thing, and it looks wastelandy. But isn't. It looks wastelandy, but it's still a bright piece. So they figured out a way to make it look wastelandy, but still be in the bright colors pony style, which is super, super cool.
Yeah.
And I will be a total buzzkill and go from light to dark. with my dystopian future piece that is done by Undertable. It's named Broken, and you guys can see the link in the show notes. And it basically covers from the season 5 finale, where we see all those alternate futures and Rainbow Dash having lost her left wing. And I gotta tell you, the art style, just all the little touches of the mechanical and the scars and how she's just accepted it, is just kind of wow. The lighting, everything is just it sinks into you.
It's very it's very stylized, but it's like it's very like extremely well detailed at the same time. Like I'm just like looking at all the little imperfections and stuff in here, like that are set up. It's so cool.
I love how there's a scar across her cutie mark too. Like that's really powerful.
It reminds me of oh crap, what was it? We covered it. Is anyone else getting sort of a Dashite vibe from this pick?
Not necessarily, because I mean, obviously, I'm still remembering, from enough of the seeing the episode of, what happened in the battle, whatever happened.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, if someone was familiar with Fallout Equestria, oh god, there I go again, and hadn't seen the episode, they could easily say that this was Rainbow Dash as a Dashite, and I really like that.
I gotta say, I just totally got spoiled on season 5 because I skipped the past 12 episodes, or past 6 episodes of season 5.
You did what?
It's because I wanted to catch up on.
I'm so sorry.
It's all good. You didn't know.
Go watch it on Netflix as soon as it's done. Yeah, the last episode is really good.
Don't worry about it, because the thing is, I've accepted the fact with how I'm so wonky about episodes. Because the thing is, it's crazy. I don't have time to watch episodes because I'm so busy with like producing music and doing all this that I'm like, I'm gonna get spoiled over 10 Ways to Sunday. But it is kind of interesting that I didn't get spoiled on that one big season 5 thing. Like so far, like this is when I got spoiled on it, and it's like, wow, how have I missed that?
It is kind of surprising because people went pretty friggin' nuts over that entire episode.
Yeah.
But I have to confess, this is not the first time I've actually seen this piece. Nicholas Dominique linked me to it a couple months ago, actually, because he was writing a song based on that he was collaborating with someone else, a female vocalist I don't remember the name of off the top of my head, but he wanted me to write the lyrics for that piece for him. So I went ahead and did that. And I actually haven't seen yet if that one has been released yet or not. I don't think he's linked me to anything, so I'd have to double check his channel and see if it has come out. But so that was just something I thought was interesting. Hey, look, lyrics.
Oh, that's I love how the if you actually I decided to zoom in and view this image at full resolution. On her locker, she has a picture of her and Gilda, and it's labeled as best chicken.
Yes.
I love that. I also like the detailing too on the mechanical wing. They've even got like the whole pulley system to fold it back in, and it's just really well detailed.
That's exactly why I actually zoomed in, because I wanted to see how crazy. I wanted to take a look at the details on that.
Yeah, the hydraulics at the base joint.
Yep.
Yes.
In this timeline, it's possible that Gilda and Dash never stopped being friends. Which would be
man, I love how in the piece there she's second place, not first. I gotta wonder if that was a deliberate artistic decision.
I believe it was yeah. It just makes sense.
I'm sorry, I'm like totally looking at this piece from like a super artistic, like emotional lens right now, and I have no idea why. I'm not normally this artistic critic.
There's a Rainbow Blitz as her dad, which I like.
Well, I just even the detail of the shadow on the floor is just amazing. There was a lot of energy put into getting this done.
That's some very intense point lighting right there. That is top notch. Like particularly the placement of the lighting, because they put it in the center of the space of the picture, so the shadows go in all different directions. That is insanely hard to do. Like, and make it look good. So that gets all the applause from me.
Yeah. And even the feathers on the good wing, like you can tell that they made it so that it was more solid when it's thicker in the feathers, but then it's very see-through as it gets to the edges of the far feathers.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you guys also scroll down a little bit too, like, and read like at the actual information section, like the artist actually like found like a short story I got posted in the comments and like put that in there too. It just adds even more emotion to the piece because it's really well written.
Broken?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I just BRB'd for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, we're still on Broken.
Well, I guess we're not anymore. Silence. All right. Well, Soul Ember, you have a thing.
I do have a thing. I'm also one of those song posting folks. The one I chose for my fan favorite section is the new-ish. I think he's released one since then, but so this is 2 weeks old now. But from Silverhound with Black Griffin, the song Egomania, the original mix, and he says that it's going to be the third single from his final Pony album. So it's sad that Silva's now departing as well from making Pony music. But it's awesome he's getting a lot of the music that he's been putting through production forever finished and compiling it into an album for all of us. Let's see, there was a section. Here we go. I like what he talks about with what the song's trying to evoke, according to him. It's about wanting to be the best and doing what it takes to get there, a sentiment echoed throughout humanity, but sometimes simultaneously looked down upon as arrogance. And it's also accompanied by a very nice art piece from Vera Stupor called Pegasus Magic.
I love the art piece for this music. It's a nice art piece.
I actually saw that art piece long before he released that track, as it resides as the background of my smartphone.
That is pretty. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I gotta get these listened to when as soon as the episode is over. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
Really
it's a
well
Silva,
detailed.
it's a Silva Hound track, so you know it's going to be produced pretty nicely.
Oh yeah. One of my favorites by him is Wildfire, the one he did with Pony. Oh man, I gotta get that thing going. I'll jack my car up. I'm not a big bass lover, but I'll turn like, yeah, this is the stuff.
My favorite track of Silva Hounds is one of his oldest ones. I still love Vinyl Scratch. Vinyl Scratch and
Yes.
Vinyl Scratch 2. I love both those tracks.
Mm.
That was actually one of the first tracks I DJ'd off of back like when I did Brony Mix Volume 1. It was Vinyl Scratch by Silva Hound, Alex S, What a World, and I forget what the other one. Oh, one of Winter Wrap Up by DJ Amaya. Those were the 3 or so tracks.
I love that DJ Amaya mix. I wish he did more than just the 2 songs.
I know, because like all his like other stuff that he's been putting out in like the weeb fandom is great, but yeah. For whatever reason, and this is probably why Silva Hound's making a departure from pony music. For whatever reason, you can produce anime music and labels will take you seriously, but if you produce pony music, they won't take you seriously. So like you have to like get away from pony music, otherwise like normal labels they'll like kind of look down on you.
That's odd.
That's a
It
weird
is.
distinction.
That's kind of snobbish.
It is hella snobbish, but it's something that kind of all the producers have had to be kind of aware of in the back of their heads. So yeah.
To the music labels to be less zesty.
Yeah, seriously. Have less salt.
Let's salty now, you old.
All right, so what we need to do is we need to crowdfund a label that specifically.
Wolf Beats?
No.
There already is a pony specific label that's like Wolf Beats to a T.
Wow.
I think, anyways. At least that's what Wolf Beats started out as. I could be wrong as to what it is now.
That shows how much I pay attention, apparently.
You have a life. Whatever that is, I don't know. That's weird. So. And dead
So,
air.
We've got one last feature here.
Mm-hmm. And it's Denny Vixen, which is awesome art.
Wordy, you want to talk
Yep.
about this?
Yep. Yeah, this is as Nolan mentioned, this is a piece from the awesome artist from London named Denny Vixen, who just the amount of detail she puts into like all of her drawings is amazing. That just plus the content as well too. It's Sunset Shimmer, as how she appeared in the third Equestria Girls movie, but as Mercy from Overwatch, which is something that I know for sure that like Dalkin and Logan are both into alongside myself.
I love this. I don't play Overwatch, but I love the characters from Overwatch. I don't play Overwatch because I don't have enough money to buy the game. Well, I do, but it would be irresponsible spending.
Yeah, it's very nice.
It's oh god, it's fabulous.
You know, something interesting to me is I haven't seen Denny do a lot of anthro art. Like most of her stuff is like for ponies anyway. That I've seen it's just I don't know if there's a term for it, but they're just ponies rather than humanoid in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
Now that said, it looks really good. The foreshortening
it's a faithful
is
recreation crossover.
God, I think what I like the most about this is the lighting effects that she's got in this. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, she just nailed it. Nailed it.
Denny's so good at like every piece that she has where she has like really dramatic lighting in it is just like phenomenal. Like if there's she knocks it out of the park in like damn near every single drawing she's ever seen or I've ever seen of hers.
Yeah, I think she had a little bit of trouble with the foreshortening on the arm, but that is some really dramatic perspective right there. So
yeah, you can't really blame that. Yeah, I'm looking at that now and I'm kind of like, yep, I see what you're talking about. But
Yeah, I get it.
it's nitpicking really when we're getting right down to it because it's a phenomenal piece.
Isn't that kind of a... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I do agree with Midley here on the lighting. It's just the effects are phenomenal. I I would use this as a phone background.
Oh, easy, easy. I'm actually very disappointed. I have not seen anyone do a lot of work with Starlight Glimmer. There's really not a lot out there. I'm kind of shocked.
Yeah.
Isn't this also a Mercy pose from one of the animated openings they did for all the characters too?
Not that I know of. Do you know, Dalkin? I'm not in the know.
I don't know the poses off the top of my head, so.
Okay.
I think I've seen Mercy do this pose in like certain comics and stuff, but I don't know if like it's from a specific like animated opening or anything.
Like I've seen in one of the Overwatch promotional videos when they're doing the sequence of stuff where they're showing a bunch of the different Overwatch agents like saving people and stuff. There is a moment where she has a pose kind of like this, where she's hovering in midair and like reaching her hand out to some refugees, and she's got like the sunlight behind her. It's clearly made to make her look like an angel, but she's more like hovering in the air, more upright and stuff. So it's not an identical pose, but I could see how this could very possibly be trying to elicit a sense of that as well, but it could be just as incidentally similar due to the layout, whatever, brain not working.
The positioning of the piece, the way she had it, has it framed, and I mean, it's hard to tell like if she's trying to fly or if she's just jumping. But again, when you look at the thing overall, it's that big of a deal? No, I mean this is just as art. This is amazing. I'm no using the too often, but it's just really, I mean, all the little things you pay attention to, and how she does everything she does. It's just awesome.
Well, as far as I can tell, it's like a pretty faithful like recreation of like all the little like details and stuff like in Mercy's armor, which I mean is some pretty crazy detailed armor to begin with.
Although one thing I really like about Overwatch, from the art perspective, is that they have official character references freely available for cosplay and artists and stuff like that. Yeah. On the website.
That is super cool.
Yeah,
it's
pretty rad.
Slick.
So.
Yeah, there's a reason. That like Blizzard is one of my favorite gaming companies, is because they do really awesome stuff like that.
And I mean, it's something like so little that like most people wouldn't think of, but it's a good thing because think about it this way: if people have the access to these things so they can cosplay it easier, they're more likely to cosplay it, which means there's more likely to create hype through the cosplayers, which ultimately helps Blizzard. And it's something so simple to do, but it has the potential for massive PR returns.
Yeah, from a marketing perspective, it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. And you know what EA would do? They would say, you can cosplay, but you have to pay the cosplay fee, and if you don't like it, we're going to...
Oh, dude, I could totally see EA being like, you want our references? Yeah, pay us $20 and we'll give you it all.
We'll give you give the references to you as DLC.
We'll give you the references as... Oh, God, do you know what? I've heard unsubstantiated rumors from my brother and a bunch of his friends that EA is focusing all further content and update patches for all of their games as... and I'm not kidding here, upgrade packs.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Wow.
Let's wait for substantiation on that before getting too upset about it, but
yeah,
it's not something that would be surprising.
Whoever has access to the document or whoever owns the document, can you give me access so I can throw on my links? I just requested edit access.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Like I said, the sources aren't reliable, but the news would not be surprising.
Yeah.
Player first.
Going off of Nolan's point earlier, though, like, I'm kind of with you on that one, dude. I want Glimglam to get some more love, like, because like she needs more like fan art and stuff, because she's got like a cool character design. Admittedly,
ever.
Yeah. Plus, I'm also like, as I mentioned, I think I mentioned in the chat like a week ago or something. I'm gonna freely admit I'm a sucker for like the whole like character, former villain trying to redeem themselves thing. Like most characters that like I like in a lot of media are those like our characters like that. Like Tommy from Power Rangers is my favorite Power Ranger. Icky from Saint Seiya, if anyone's watched that, is my favorite character in that, and they're both like redeemed like villains essentially. So it's a thing I'm a sucker for. I think Sunset's had a better arc with it so far, but I think if they keep doing some stuff with like Starlight, I really think they can make her like I think a character. Maybe not on the exact same level, but like pretty close to that.
It's what made her so cute. It's what made Sunset Shimmer so cute, and it's what's making Glimmer so cute. It's like this whole reformation. You're both adore, and they both have the whole two-tone mane that just is like, oh.
Yeah. This is going to be kind of controversial, and I'm going to defend this. I personally think the way the writers have told Starlight's story is far more convincing than Sunset's. Yes. Why is that? We have seen Starlight at her worst. We have seen her basically know what she was doing, not caring, and keep on doing it. And it took her an entire better part, I would say, a year planning her revenge. And she literally, we saw all the little hints. She was spying on Twilight every chance she could get. Keep an eye on her. Here's her patterns. Learn all this stuff about her. And then all of episode 25 and 26 in season 5. And we see her basically going, you know what? I hate you. I'm going to get rid of you because you're a threat to me. But then, the way it develops and showing that and, how she reformed, and people will say, she reformed too quickly. No. I mean, there was this story on Fanfic called That's It, which is during the last part of this season finale, season 5, where we see her relationship with Sunburst before we get into season 6, and, how quickly it went sour, and a less snarky, a less appropriate Twilight says a rather snarky opinion than an adult might say. I recommend you go read the story. But we get into season 6, and all of a sudden we are seeing the reformed character knowing that she has a history and trying to make herself better. And I think we skipped that step with Sunset, so it's a little harder to relate to her than it is with Starlight.
I have the exact opposite statement. I relate much more to Sunset than I do to Starlight, and I'll tell you why. With Sunset, we saw more of an I forgive you reaction. She wasn't just forgiven instantly by the townsfolk. She had to friggin' work for it, you know what I mean? People mistrusted her, people outright insulted her, she got dirty looks, all this stuff. And she actually had to work to overcome it. And what did we get with Starlight? 30-second montage. We got a bunch of photos, and suddenly everything is okay. Yeah, I understand.
I need to take more photos.
Exactly. It was like, oh, yep, 30-second photos. You know that episode full of ponies whose cutie mark she took and basically held hostage for, let's assume, weeks? Best case scenario? We're gonna resolve all that in one picture, and we're all friends. When that could have easily been an episode, and just wasted potential too. And even her episode with Trixie wasn't really about her; it was about Trixie's redemption.
Right.
Yeah, I have heard that like one of the new they're coming out with like some novel, like a novel and stuff that's like about Starlight. And as far as I can tell from like other sources that I've heard, that I have read, like the little junior novels that do come out that I think like GM Barrow like generally likes, those are canon to an extent from what I've heard.
Huh.
So yeah, I guess that's our show. So, as always, if you guys want to send us fan mail, we do have an email address for the show. It's hah@equestrianbroadcastingcompany.com. So if you send stuff there, we may or may not talk about it here on the show. In any case, it will get read, and we will make an effort to respond to it in some way, shape, or form. And otherwise, as linked in the show notes, we do have contact information for getting a hold of the folks who have been on the show, including our guest, it looks like. Is that correct, Midley?
Yep, everything's in there. I'm just trying to get my website up because apparently I haven't linked it yet.
All right.
GoDaddy's telling me that, but it'll be up by the time people see it, so it'll be good.
All right. Well, yeah, just go ahead and you can let me know when that's up, and I can fix it in the show notes, or I guess I've given you actual access, so you can fix it yourself if you feel so inclined.
That's what I'm doing right now, buddy.
So, in any case, so if you want to get a hold of any of our hosts or our wonderful guest directly, you can do that as well. So thank you for joining us for this episode, June 2016. For Hayfries and Horseapples and the Equestrian Broadcasting Company, this has been Wordy Notes.
Wordy.
Oh, am I supposed to say
Yes.
like?
Yes.
Sorry, my bad.
I should have probably established that. We're signing off right now.
Well, no, I figured we were
Don't
signing
lie.
off. I just didn't know if I was supposed to say something. Have a good night, y'all.
Yay.
Soul Ember,
Thank you for listening. We love all of you.
Noteworthy,
Hashtag BronyCon5, show up for your square.
Mr. Shoebox,
Bye. Bye.
our guest, Midley.
See you guys around. Be sure to follow me on social media, Twitter, Tumblr, and all that wonderful stuff. Love all of y'all, and keep being creative.
And
Yes.
yours truly, Dalkin Starbine. Oh, actually, Noteworthy did make a good point there. Just before we sign off. Several of us will be at BronyCon this year. I know I will be. I know Shu will be. Noteworthy, you mentioned you will be.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
Hell yes.
I don't know if our guest will be.
Nope, I will not be at BronyCon this
Okay,
year.
Midley will not be at BronyCon, unfortunately.
You can catch me at the Canadian BronyCon, though. Brony can in August.
Alright, so in August, look for Midley at BronyCon. And I think we may... I know we will be having a few other members of the EBC team at BronyCon. We won't really be doing anything official, like panels or anything like that. But we'll be there. You can if you're gonna be there, you can swing by. You know, if you catch us in the hall or whatever, say hi, and you know, we can chat and we'd love to meet you. It'd be good times. So yes.
The next episode's coming. Be patient, please. We know. Please be patient with us.
So yeah. This is the Equestrian Broadcasting Company signing off.